see if I can open this up for you. What do you guys think? Alright, I don't really know how I'm going to pull this off, but I've got a chuck roast. And here's a chuck roast. That'll be our base. Alright. Then I've got USDA Prime beef ribeye steak, boneless. That'll be in the middle. And then I've got this prime beef tenderloin steak. So just a little, it's like that big, little filet mignon, if you will. So I think what I want to do, I wanted to treat this like a brisket, right? Low and slow, but I don't want it falling apart as the base of our steak cake there, obviously, because it'll just all fall apart, right? So I'm gonna slowly cook this to try to keep it as tender as possible until the internal is about 125, 130, and then I think I'm just gonna treat these like they are, just the steaks that they are, and probably do a little bit of indirect heat and then sear at the end, so kind of a reverse sear on these, just to keep them tender and to keep the integrity of our cake good. So we will start by seasoning these, and then I'm going to wrap them in some butcher twine to keep them as circular as possible. That's why I got the no bones in them, so they can stay nice and round. And so yeah, we'll get these seasoned up, wrapped in butcher's twine, and then I'm going to fire up the smoker. Alright guys, there you have it. There's our chuck, our prime rib, and our filet mignon, all wrapped in butcher's twine, and trying to keep them as round as possible. Seasoned with SPG, yeah, you know me. Now we're going to get the smoker fired up. I'm going to cover this with foil, and while that's heating up, or getting the charcoal started, while that's getting going, we're going to go inside, and I've got 6 peeled russet potatoes in a pot of water that we're going to boil, and that's going to be our frosting. So, like I said, we'll get this fired up, let these rest and season a little bit, and we'll go inside and get that pot boiling. Alright, so we got the smoker going, charcoal's getting started right now, and I just turned on the burner. I've got 6 russet potatoes in there. You can cut them up, they'll boil faster or cook faster, whatever, but so we just threw that on high. We're going to boil that, get them fork tender, and we're going to mash them up. That's going to be our mashed potato frosting. So while that's going, and the smoker's getting up to 10. Now obviously that chuck roast is going to cook a lot slower than, let's say, that tenderloin. So we're going to put the tenderloin on last, obviously. We're going to put the chuck roast on first. I'm going to get a probe in there. We're going to watch the temperature. When it gets to about 100, that's when I'm going to put the prime rib on. We're going to indirectly cook that. And then same thing with that. Once that reaches about 100, 110, that's when I'm going to put the tenderloin on. So we're going to cook these in stages. And that way they should all be done at the same time with the same doneness, the same tenderness, hopefully, and then we'll build the cake and put it all together. Alright guys, just want to show you. Got the chuck roast on there, got a probe inserted. We're going to probably shoot for 100, 110 before throwing the other steaks on, and this is just some thick cut T-bone I had laying around, so I figured I'd season it up and throw it on there as well. It's thicker than the frickin' chuck roast. We're gonna have that for dinner. Also the steak cake probably, but you know, whatever. I didn't want this to go bad, so I seasoned it and threw it on there. Anywho, we'll come back and check on that in a little bit. I got the potato water boiling, and we're gonna get those fork tender. And like I said, when this starts getting up there, 110, 115, we'll throw the other smaller steaks on, because those are gonna cook a lot faster than this guy. So I'm gonna keep the temperature at around 225, 250, and we're kind of gonna low and slow it because I don't want this tightening up and squeezing all the juices out and drying out and getting too tough, but I also don't want it like fall apart tender like a brisket, like a poor man's brisket, you know, chuck roast. That's what you do with these. So we're just going to kind of reverse sear it like the other guys, and hopefully it's tender enough and soft enough to where it cuts nice and easy and doesn't just fall apart. So we'll be back. Alright guys, the potatoes are fork tender, so I just drained the water out, put them in a bowl. There's a half a stick of butter. I'm going to add another half a stick of butter, so 1 whole stick of butter, and then I'm going to throw some garlic powder in here, maybe a little salt. You guys can season your potatoes however you want it, but remember, this is going to be your frosting to the cake. So, yep, just season your potatoes however you want them. I'm going to make buttered garlic potatoes, and that's going to be our frosting. Mash them up, set them aside. Alright guys, pardon the wind. Potatoes are mashed and seasoned and set aside. These are looking pretty good. Rocking it. Oh, gotta add another log to the fire. We're dropping under 200. 90 degrees internal for that chuck roast there. Looking good, ain't it? Alright, so we're gonna get the heat back up and we're gonna give this another half an hour or so. Alright, we've reached 110 degrees on the chuck roast, so we're gonna throw the other little guys on and get them up to speed. And before they reach, or when each one reaches 120, 125, I'm going to pull them off. We're going to come over here to the Weber kettle and we're going to sear them and get them perfect, and then we're going to pull them off, perfect medium rare, let them rest, and then we're going to build our cake. This is going to be fun, so stick around. Okay, we've got our other little dudes on there. Prime rib right here, filet mignon right there. This guy's rocking about $1.12, so I don't really have probes for these. I'm just going to check them with a quick read every now and then, just to make sure we're right on track. When this hits 125, 126, 127, 128, whatever, somewhere in between 125 and 130, I'm going to pull it off, and we're going to sear it on the Weber kettle. Same with these guys. As soon as these guys hit their internals of 125, we're going to pull them off and give them a quick sear. I want everything to be medium rare or as close to it as possible. This guy is not part of our cake. I just had it sitting in there. I wanted to cook it before it went bad, or I had to refreeze it. So anyways, life goes on. We'll be back. Alright guys, our chuck roast is at 126. We're going to pull it off, bring it over here and give it a quick sear. Then we're going to set it aside and let it rest. After that, we're going to go inside and make bacon, because that is going to be our sprinkles. So let's sear this chuck roast real quick, set it aside, get it resting, and then we'll go make some bacon. Alright, so we're searing. I gotta tell you guys, I tried to pick this thing up with a pair of tongs from the side, and it's kind of just like falling apart. So hopefully this sear will develop a crust a little bit and kind of hold everything together. So let's get the sear on it, like I said, and then we'll go make some bacon. But definitely feeling really tender, so that's kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Hopefully it'll tighten up a little bit after the sear. Alright, so as I'm searing that chuck roast, I got the probe in the fillet, and that's about 111. This is probably not quite there, but another 10 degrees, 15 degrees for that, and probably another 15 for this, and then we'll sear these also. Alright, this is seared. I'll set that aside. Man, that smells delicious. Look at that. Look at the color on it. Oh, sorry. It looks black on camera, but yeah, maybe I can get a... Nope, just looks terrible from every angle. Anyways, yeah, it looks really good in person. Nice sear on it. We're going to get it wrapped up so it can rest, and we're going to sear the other two very shortly here. Alright, next up is the ribeye. We're just going to get a good crust on that. It probed at 118 when I decided to throw it on there. I want this more on the rare side because it's going to be in the middle layer of our cake, so I don't need it too tough. I just need it to cut well, and it is a prime grade rib, so it's going to be tender and it's going to be soft by nature. So get a quick crust on that, put it over here to rest with our little Chucky Poo, and we'll be good to go pretty soon. Yeah, then it's tenderloin time, which is right there. So, yep. Look at that. Look at that beautiful fillet, guys. Oh, fogging up the lens a little bit. And remember, this is just SPG. I'm so sorry, but this looks terrible on camera. It looks so much better in person. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that it's not burnt. Just wait till I slice into it. That'll probably be the tell-all. It'll be a perfect pink inside, medium rare. That's what I shot for. So yeah, let's get it wrapped up and rested and start building this thing. Alright guys, I almost forgot this step. I was so busy searing steaks. Don't forget to make your bacon. So I got a cast iron here with just a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna make our bacon. I think I'm gonna make one whole package, and I'm gonna crumble it all up because that is gonna be our sprinkles. Boy, I tell you. Alright, check it out. Alright, we've got everything rested. We've got our bacon bits. We've got our butter, garlic, mashed potatoes. We're gonna build this thing now. So let's start by opening the chuck roast. Yep, my dog thinks she's gonna get some, but she's not. Alright, chuck roast. There it is. I'm gonna unwrap our ribeye next. Ribeye. On. Alright. Next, the filet mignon. There it is. Filet mignon. Alright, so I tried to keep everything as circular as possible. You can trim it to make it that way after the fact if you want. I'm not gonna do that. I think that's just a waste of beef. So now we gotta cover this thing in mashed potatoes. Should we do one layer at a time or the whole thing at once? I think we should do one layer at a time. So we'll take these off, set them aside. Alright. I hope we have enough mashed potatoes for this. Alright, I lost my cameraman. It's alright, let's do this. Let's get some mashed potatoes on there. Right? Spread them around a little bit. I'm actually worried that I don't have enough mashed potatoes for this. So we'll do our best here. And we'll see what's crapping in, man. I'm gonna use this brush here to like kind of smooth everything out. That's actually working pretty well. Okay, cool. So we've got a potato brush now. So it's not covering everything completely, but that's good enough. I want to be kind of conservative with these potatoes, so we're gonna move on to the ribeye. Oh, look at the juices dripping on there. I think that's as good as I want to get it. It just looks like a potato mound, but check it out. So we're gonna add our bacon crumble sprinkles to it. Yeah, bacon crumble frickin' sprinkles, dude. Bacon crumble. Just say that. Bacon crumble sprinkles, right? Which doesn't sound like this should be a thing. But it's totally a thing. Alright, there it is. Our monstrosity. Chuck roast, prime rib, tenderloin on top, covered in mashed potatoes, and then bacon bits as sprinkles. This thing is ridiculous. I've created a monster, you guys. Now this does not look anything like the video I saw where it's like symmetrical and there's circles and layers. This is just like this looks like just a potato mound covered in bacon. But I don't know. You want to cut into it? Let's cut it in half. I don't know. You want to cut into it? Let's cut it in half and see what it looks like. That's something we can do. All right, yeah, let's try that. All right. Cut in half. Let's see if I can open this up for you. What do you guys think? Is it cooked well? That looks like edge to edge pinkness to me. Maybe a little, that's medium rare definitely for sure up here. Man. We cooked that pretty perfectly if you ask me. Alright, well there you have it. We made a steak cake. It's not the prettiest thing. It's not really practical if you're trying to feed people, but it's fun. I had a good time doing this. As you can tell, these are pretty well cooked for me, medium rare. If you want them a little more done, you can sear them for longer at the end, or you can bring them to an IT that's a little higher before you sear them. I pulled off the chuck roast at 126 and gave it a good sear, probably 30-45 seconds on each side. For the prime rib, it was a little less. I think it was like 115, 116 when I pulled it off to give it a sear. And with the filet, I took that off at about 111 and gave that a good sear because I wanted this not to dry out. It's a smaller piece of beef, so this was fun. I'm definitely gonna eat some of this. You guys aren't gonna see me eat any of it, but you can take my word for it. Steak, SPG, garlic butter, potatoes, bacon. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get much better than that. Try it out. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me cook something else. I think this is pretty fun, and I definitely think you guys should give it a try just to see how it turns out for you. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh my God, shut the hell up.